were thinking this. This is not Adrian, this is them right now. Mendoza, Saucedo, and Coronado. They couldn't even wrap their head around the fact that this potential could be a school shooting. They thought that this person with a gun was trying to get away from officers and was going to cross through the school to go out the east side of the building. That's what they thought. That's what you're going to hear them say. Let me tell you what's super important, because Bill told you, the government told you, that Adrian is assessing the situation. You're going to hear about that. You're going to hear about observing, orienting yourself to the situation, deciding, then acting. It's called OODA loop, okay? You're going to hear about evidence like that. This is objective evidence, not anybody's opinion, because you're going to hear it yourself. At 11:32:59, 1 second after this monster got into the building, Adrian calls out, he should be on the west side, supposed to be wearing black. Why? Because Melody's with him, telling him information, and he's collecting data. He's heard shots. He doesn't know where that's coming from. Everybody thinks they're being shot at, including Melody, including these officers. And he does what his training tells him to do: relay information. He's relaying information. He's not seeing anything. Nothing's been done in his presence. When they read out the indictment, nothing was done in his presence. In his presence, he relays it. These times are critical, and we're going to humbly ask you to stay focused on these times. He's reporting as he's receiving information. Note what's going on where he believes he should be, near the teacher parking lot. He's already in the building. And then 22 seconds later, he is shooting into those classrooms. And then seconds later, he's in the classroom. Opportunity and ability. This is what it's going to play out to. I know when you speak in generalities, it's easy to make an accusation until you have to peel the onion back, until you have to come into specifics. And we've asked you guys, we asked you for your permission in jury selection if we could ask tough questions. And it's always tough to ask tough questions about a tough case and sensitive situations. That's why we ask you those specific questions. But we're going to do it because we have to. But this is what the evidence is going to show. And the government's going to have to stand up when this is all over and after you've heard all the evidence. And they're going to have to say, we want you to hold the man responsible that as he walks into this fluid situation, drives into this fluid, goes to the danger, drives into the storm, because he thinks that he's going to this person, this suspect, with a gun. He doesn't stick back and create a perimeter, with all respect to these officers. He goes in. He thinks and then he realizes it's the coach. At the time, he didn't know that. And you'll see the funeral video, like Jason said. And they're going to have to say that when he radios, because that's when he knows, Melody's with him. She's not going to know what times. A second after, he's already in the building. How can he delay, distract, or deter someone when he doesn't see him? He's completely on the opposite side of a building. And by the time he finds out the situation, observes and orients, and then communicates, he's already in the building. And then seconds later, this animal is stealing children from Uvalde community. So what the government will say and do is they'll want you to focus on Coronado's video. Remember Coronado, the one that was here initially and was asked to shoot, and then and he'll talk to you about, and then goes to this side, and you'll see him running up from the other side. You'll see his body cam video running up this way. One thing that we want you to focus on though is his body cam video and Mendoza's body cam video. They have body cam videos. They both, interestingly, start at 11:35:10. Write it down. 11:35:10. At the same time, because someone from the government's investigation synced all these videos together. And I shouldn't say all of these, there's not that many, but synced all these videos together. And they both started 11:35:10. You saw what time they showed up. There's got to be body cam from when they were here talking, perceiving things. They both, and that's what you're going to see. And so as Coronado is running at 11:35:10, he's already come all the way around, and he meets Chief Arredondo, and then they start running up. And then they finally run into Mel, because she leaves Adrian's point and goes to the school. She leaves, and Adrian stays there in cover, and he had communicated information. And you're going to hear that a Lieutenant Vargas shows up, and then eventually a Sergeant Page shows up, who Melody describes as Adrian, and she was mistaken about that. And then as Coronado and Arredondo are walking up and running up, there's shots fired. Now you will see, and we anticipate that the government will focus on this. On Coronado's body cam, it's moving, that you see Adrian and Page standing there. Now they're not standing there eating something, or they're standing there talking. Adrian had cover, Page drives up, there's a realization that he didn't take any fire, So they get out. Sergeant Page gets out, and it's really a moment. You're walking. They're like this. You're going to see them walking towards the school. Then they hear shots fired. We can hear Sergeant Coronado say, "Get in the school." And he says, "Oh shit, get in the school." And he's yelling and he's out of breath. But there's no evidence that neither one of them heard him. They were so far from him. God bless you. They didn't hear him. And they immediately run into school. Immediately run into school. They're one of the first ones, if not the first ones, Paige and Adrian, in the school. And then there's some officers on the other side. And as he said, they take fire. That's what this is going to boil down to. But we anticipate they're going to want you to focus on that literally that moment, that second that you see Adrian and Sergeant Page standing there and then walking towards the school, and then they sprint into the school, and you see Adrian's gun drawn, and he's in the hallway. Goes in again. We also think they're going to focus on time to enter, because Bill talked about that in opening. This 3 minutes and whatever seconds. There's a lot going on in these 3 minutes. We're going to focus and break it down. It's not about just saying there's 3 minutes, because their indictment doesn't cover all 3 minutes. Their indictment covers what they decided to prosecute on is when he made it all the way, that animal made it into the building and then started shooting into the school. Remember? At 11:33:22. That's what it specifically covers, because that's when the assaults begin. Not the 3 minutes and whatever seconds after, as many officers are on the scene at that time and surrounding the school. But we'll talk about that, and we'll cross-examine on that, and you'll hear evidence about that. And then they're going to focus on Melody Flores, and I kind of gave you a heads up about Melody Flores. She's just wrong about a lot of things, and it's traumatic, it's stressful, as Jason said. And I'm not saying this to scare you but we talked about this in jury selection. None of us, you will not leave this trial the same. You just won't. And thank you for taking on this role, but it's just, we're going to talk about the photos in a second. But Melody's wrong about a lot of things. Her times, she's with Adrian, not sure how long, so Adrian's dealing with her at the time, and she's with him. There's shots being fired. She sees bullets or glass breaking. Officers are coming, they're around. You're going to hear radio dispatch. Again, that's going to be really important about what's being communicated to the officers by the dispatcher and then by other officers. This is not in the comfort of a courtroom as one of the Rangers during their investigation you would hear say with 20/20 hindsight and playing Monday morning quarterback. That's from a Texas Ranger, not from us. Okay? Because you're going to hear about interviews. And so they're going to really want you to focus on these photos. And I wish they wouldn't, not because it hurts us, because that's what they want those photos to do. It's because it hurts those precious people over there. That's why. I shared with you in Board Dire what my family's been through, and so I get it. I get it. And so we're going to ask you to really, well, if you have to get emotional, you get emotional. You may. I anticipate you will, depending on what you see. This is emotional. This is an emotional trial. People are going to get emotional. Bill's a good man. He got emotional. But we're going to ask you not to make a decision off emotion, because that doesn't bring justice to anybody. But I do want you to focus on this. There were multiple agency investigations. Multiple. The DOJ did an investigation. Looked at all the evidence that the government's going to show you. There's not some secret evidence, with all due respect to them, that they're going to show you that the DOJ didn't see. Texas House of Representatives did an investigation. They had a committee. They're not new evidence going to be presented to you that they didn't see. This report has a lot of criticism to go around to the school. It really has to do with that door. And other things, by the way. Radios that can't work inside. Officer not assigned to the school. Lockdown procedures that weren't followed. A lot of things. Way to communicate. Individual locks. The actual classroom, 111, wasn't locked. 111 wasn't locked. You'll hear some evidence of could it even be locked? And did they know about it? And what should have happened? You're also going to hear evidence of the Uvalde police policy from 2015 and whether it's ever been replaced about how officers are supposed to respond. Should they wait for backup cover? Should they communicate? Should they observe? And training is going to matter in this case. And so we're going to ask you to stay focused. You're going to hear a lot of training. But again, totality of the circumstances of what
Your
Adrian
Honor,
was
I'm going to
experiencing.
object to him talking about evidence. I mean, he's supposed to be doing an opening statement, outlining the evidence that we're going to present. Right now, he's talking about third-party investigations. Those agencies did not have the full investigation of the Uvalde grand jury, and I think that unless he says that the evidence will show you that they're going to present about these third-party investigations, I think this isn't doing nothing but misleading the jury as to the evidence that they're going to hear in this case.
I think that's right for cross-examination, Judge.
All right, I'm going to overrule the objection. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, what the lawyers say in opening statement is not to be construed as evidence. They're summarizing what they believe the evidence will show. If the evidence doesn't show that, you can recall that.
Thank you, Judge.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department of Homeland Security reviewed evidence. City of Uvalde hired Mr. Prado, reviewed evidence. And what you'll see, Adrian fully cooperated every time. He wasn't in a corner hiding. He didn't hold information. He cooperated. He talked. He talked to investigators. He talked to the Rangers. He talked to whoever wanted to talk to him because he wanted to help. We're going to ask you to focus on what the evidence will show Adrian did. He took the call. He took the call to go to a school that he wasn't assigned to. He drove to the suspect into the storm, thinking that it was the person that had this gun walking towards the school. He gathered information the way his training told him to do. That's what you're going to see. You're supposed to gather information so you can let other officers know what's going on. He went into a building. After relaying that information, one of the first to go in, as we talked about. He called SWAT because he was asked to call SWAT because those radios couldn't work in the building. Like Jason said, break. I can't break, meaning I can't dispatch, I can't communicate. So he goes outside to do that. Many officers are on the scene at that time. He stood perimeter because he didn't know if he was watching the east side. He's on the south side. There's a west side. Other officers are inside by this time, and so he stood perimeter at the school. He tried to find out if class was even in session. He didn't even know if class was in session. They needed to find out. You're going to hear that the officers are there kids in the school? They didn't even know. There wasn't certainty that even kids were in the school. Remember, he's coming from a high school, they call it Mexican Park, right? That's the way they call it in Uvalde. And where many of the high schoolers were there. So are these kids even in the school? It's not his school. This is not where he patrols on a regular basis. And you're going to hear evidence he evacuated children. You're going to see it on Coronado's. They're breaking windows and they're getting kids out as now they're waiting for, you're going to hear Bortec. These are people that have rated shields that can take a high-powered rifle because they were under-resourced. That community was under-resourced. They didn't have a shield, a rated shield for high-powered. You're going to hear that there's shields for handguns and then there's shields for high-powered rifles. And they were waiting for that. So he's evacuating children from other classrooms on the other side. And he's checking on Ruiz. You're going to hear about an officer, Ruben Ruiz, who he communicated with. Was tragic part of this. He's talking to his wife, and she's been injured. She passed. And Ruiz wanted to go inside, and so, and I love my wife. I mean, who wouldn't want to just go in there, you know? And they took his gun away from Officer Ruiz. And Adrian kept going back and check on him twice. He's doing all these things at the same time. Got the building plans because they were asking for it, because people didn't understand the layout of this building. He got that for them. And he ultimately secured the master key because they needed the master key. And then you're going to hear some tactics about how you breach an outward swinging door versus an inward swinging door and what is needed and whether they had the equipment to do that, which the evidence will show they didn't. This is what Adrian did. I mean, the government wants to make it seem like he just sat there, you know. He didn't just sit there. He did what he could with what he knew at the time, and this was fluid and it was a dynamic situation. And we're going to ask you, and I don't know how you do it, and we all have to do it a different way, is to stay focused on this because this is going to be emotional. And because we want justice, right? We talked about that. We talked about that our system works off of you and Lady Justice with a blindfold, and that's what we're going to ask you to do, because evil is not rectified with injustice. Pure evil visited that precious community. It did, it's not rectified with injustice. And so at the end of this trial, we're going to come back to you and humbly ask you to consider the law and the facts and properly apply them. And we're going to be requesting and asking for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you for your attention.
Is anybody booking the rule?
Yes, Judge.
All right, you know who your witnesses are. The rule has been invoked, so please instruct them and don't let them come into the courtroom, please, while the testimony is going on.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I see some of you are taking notes, which is great. I'll instruct you at this time. If that assists you in concentrating on the evidence, please do it. But I will tell you, when you go back to deliberate, the bailiff's going to hold your notes, because if there's a conflict as to evidence, we rely on the official court record. But if it helps you in concentrating, please continue to do it. Can I see yours up here real quick on an unrelated matter? Okay, yeah.
Good morning, sir. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Adjust that microphone if you need to. And speak up so everybody can hear you.
Please.
Would you introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Gilbert Limones.
And Mr. Limones, what do you do for a living?
I'm a full-time pastor, and then I work part-time at the funeral home.
You're a full-time pastor and also work at the funeral home?
Yes, sir.
Which funeral home is that?
Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home.
And what community is that in?
That's in Uvalde, Texas.
At the Hillcrest Funeral Home in Uvalde, Texas?
Yes, sir.
And is the funeral home located near a school?
It's right across the street, sir.
From what school?
From Rob.
Robb Elementary School?
Yes, sir.
Were you working on May 24, 2022 at the funeral home?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing there?
Actually, at the time,
Yes.
I was actually just coming out of the embalming room, and we were walking out the door down the hallway until when we heard that there was an accident.
Okay. You actually heard an accident?
I didn't hear it myself. The office manager at the time was the one that said there was an accident outside, so we ran outside without question.
And why would you run outside when you hear there's an accident?
Just because we wanted to see where it's at or what happened, and until we walked out, and that's when we saw the dust right across the street.
And what did you do when you saw the dust?
Immediately ran to help, or to help out the person. And at that time, as I was walking, I was calling 911 to inform them that there was an accident.
Okay. Were you by yourself?
No, sir.
Who were you with?
I was with my coworker Cody Briceño.
Okay. And did you get to the scene of the accident?
Yes, sir.
And tell us what you saw.
Well, I just remember as I was crossing the street, I had to look to my left to see if there's no any of the vehicles coming. And as soon as I crossed over, I saw a truck that was in the gutter area where the water trolley's at. And then I didn't see him come out of the vehicle, but I just, all I heard is I got very close to him. I heard someone yell out, "He has a gun." And I stopped, and I'm like, "What gun?" I couldn't see a gun at that time.
Okay. So what did you do?
I paused, and I just yelled out to the guy. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And he just stared at me, and all I saw was just this black post, what to me looked like a black post, like a fence post, coming up out of from the truck where he was on the other side. And he just kept looking at me, and then as soon as he went like this, it's when I knew that he had a gun, and he started firing, and I just turned around and started running back to the
Okay.
funeral home.
Did he fire before you turned to run or after you turned to run?
I think it was after I turned.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you saw the black post, you heard somebody yell there's a gun, and you turned to run.
Yes, sir.
And you said you had already been on the phone?
I was in the phone with 911 to tell him that hey, there was an accident at the time.
And that was when you were on your way over there, or when
Correct.
did you call 911?
As I was walking across the street, is when I was with 911 to let them know that there was an accident there. And then, of course, as soon as I ran back to the Hillcrest, I immediately called 911 and to let them know that he started shooting at us. And then I was watching him through the window, the scene unfold through the window of the side of the building, or the front office, should I say.
So you did get safely back to the funeral home,
Yes, sir.
but then you continued watching?
I continued watching and then calling 911 because we were shot at. And I didn't expect to be shot at.
And why would you call 911 if you were shot at?
Well, because I wanted to let them know that, hey, there's a guy out here that has a gun that's been shooting at us. And I didn't understand why. It's like, what was his motive? I didn't know.
Okay. Did you have any expectations when you called 911?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you expect the police to show up?
Well, that's the first thing that one would think, that the police department would show up.
So that's why you called them as opposed to somebody else?
Correct.
Okay. But you stay watching this man after you get back in the funeral home, and you're in a position where you can see him?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you, describe what he looked like if you could tell.
I just remember him seeing a tall, skinny guy, Hispanic, and he was wearing all black. And as he started shooting at us, when I was looking through the window, he kept pointing the gun towards the funeral home. And then that's when I saw him throw a duffel bag across the fence. And when he threw the duffel bag across the fence, he then jumped the fence. He didn't walk, he didn't run towards the school. He basically walked completely, very nonchalantly, like no rush, no nothing. And as soon as he was walking that direction, I just remember the parking lot where the teachers parked. He just pulled his hat up and he just shook his hair like he was waving it, put the cap back on. And at that moment, I saw a white car that went right through the parking lot. It went so fast, but he was standing right over here with us, where the school teacher's parking lot was at. And he just...
So you saw a white car arrive, and this is after you called 911.
Yes, sir.
And you see the man with black hair, and where is he standing?
And the parking lot where the teacher's parking, he was in between two vehicles.
In the teacher's parking lot?
Yes, sir.
And what did you see next?
And then I just, like I said, I just saw the car driving by, and then I just saw him walking towards the end of the school. And then I saw some children were at the playground, the pavilion. And I just remember him shooting at the children. And then from that point, he went...
Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure I understand the time. So you see him shooting at the children?
Yes, sir. The ones that were at the playground.
And that was after you saw the white car enter the school grounds?
No, not after. It was before.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I understood that.
Yes, sir.
So you see him shooting at children, and how much later did you see the white car?
I think it was just moments later.
And then what happened?
And then I just remember him going through the classrooms, and he started shooting in window by window until he got to the door where he walked in through.
So you could see all of that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Did you see other police officers pull up?
There was nobody there at the time.
Okay, so just that one white car is all
Yeah.
you had seen?
Yes, sir. And then by the time he entered, I heard the shooting inside the classroom. At that point, I just, was begging 911 to please get officers out there. And then I saw a police officer arrive, and I was telling him he entered through that door. And that's the door that he entered through. And I just remember him walking towards that. And I hung up with 911, and I called my mom. And I said, Mom, please get into prayers. I said, someone's shooting at the children here at the school.
And that was based on your observations in the funeral home?
Yes, sir.
That they're shooting at children?
Yes, sir.
And you called 911?
Yes, sir.
And begged them?
Yes, I just said, please get officers out here.
So you made 2 calls?
The first one, the 911 call that I made was because of the accident. And then the second one I made was because he started shooting at us and telling them, and I was with the operator, or the 911 operator, with him on the line while the shooting was going on.
Okay. May I have just a second to set up, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
And do you want to use your board for the description?
Well, I can use, you're free to use whatever we have. As an officer, if you want. So, yeah. You want me to get it?
Let's look at it. It's not too. You already showed it tonight. Yeah, this is, have you marked it, or do you want us to just mark it?
Yeah, we can just mark as defensive line.
Well, can we just, we have ours marked. Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine, too.
Thank you.
Well, my numbers,
Mess up your system.
that's right.
Your Honor, the only thing we ask is, I think that there's some additional writing on there that we haven't seen yet. So we just asked to see what that is before we proceed.
Okay. Okay, we good to go with that demonstrative exhibit?
Judge, can I relocate?
Yes, Your Honor, and we'd offer State's Exhibit 1 for demonstrative purposes.
All right, no objection, it's admitted. Yes, you may move.
And may Mr. Lamone's approach the exhibit, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind getting up and help us with this a little bit? And we've got jurors spread all the way across. So I'm going to ask you to stand here and kind of keep an eye on this juror so you don't get in their way, and I'm going to get on this side and try to do the same. Okay? Would you start by showing us where your funeral home is?
Our funeral home is right there.
That's the funeral home.
That's the funeral.
And would you also show us where the wreck happened?
The wreck happened right here, sir.
Where the red X is?
Yes, sir.
And does this red line, is that an accurate depiction of the way you saw the gunman walk?
Yes, sir.
Would you trace that so the jury is kind of faint?
Right here.
Okay, so first you see him walk to the south end,
Yes, sir.
and then walk back all the way up to the north
And
end.
then walk all the
go
way
in.
further.
And so you got out of the funeral home, where were you and where did you go?
I was right here in the hallway, and I was walking when I was told that there was an accident. So we walked out, and we started walking this way. When we saw the dust here, we began to run. I stopped here to look this direction to see if there's any vehicles were coming. And then I crossed over, and I walked right about this area right here. And I saw the gunman, and I guess that's when I called out and said, "Hey, sir, are you okay?" He didn't say anything at all. He just kept looking at me, and that's, of course, that's when I heard someone yell. I didn't know who it was. I just heard someone yell out, "He has a gun," and I stopped, and I'm like, "What gun?" And that's when I saw him, pull the gun out
With the black pole?
with the back that looked like a black post. And now, afterwards, I realized it was the weapon he used.
Okay. Thank you. You can have a seat. And I'm correct that you called 911, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
You called 911,
Yes, sir.
and you're aware that they record your phone calls.
Yes, sir.
When you called 911, were you in an excited state?
I was really overwhelmed.
Judge, I'm sorry, sir. We'll stipulate to the 911 call, Judge.
All right, you may proceed.
Okay. Have you listened to the two 911 calls that you made before appearing before the jury?
No, sir.
Okay. But I believe they're stipulated
Yes,
that they're
sir.
fair and accurate representations. As you listen to these phone calls, we're going to ask you if that is your voice and if that's a fair and accurate representation of the calls.
Yes,
Fair
sir.
enough?
Fair enough.
They would play, is it 6?
Yeah, I have.
We'd mark and offer Stacy to give it 21 an hour,
No objection, Judge.
Submitted.
and maybe it displayed to the jury.
Yes.
Uvalde County 911. Yes, ma'am. Somebody just had an accident over here. I know you're just. You mean everything? Oh my God! Oh my God! Somebody killing a gun! They're shooting guns! They just got. Oh my God! They just got shot at us. They shot at you? Yeah. Listen to the guy who's about to school over here. He's in the back. He's having a serious injury at the school. Hurry! Hurry, please! He's in the bed. Oh my God! Oh my God! He's jumping into the schoolyard. He's jumping into the schoolyard, man.
Are you doing the schoolyard?
Yes, he just jumped up on the fence. He's running towards the school. Oh my God. He's wearing black. He's like a young kid. Please hurry.
Okay, we do have multiple officers heading out that way. You said he's wearing black?
No, yes, he's walking. He's walking across to the lobby right in front of the funeral home. Where it's called at the funeral home. Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's one officers that are heading out that way.
What do you mean? There's kids out there. There's kids out there, please. Oh, he's shooting at a truck that's going by. Hurry.
Yes, sir, we have multiple units heading out that way.
Oh my God, these kids. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. My God. Father, please in the name of Jesus. Oh my God. Lord, please protect these children. Father God, in the name of Jesus. Father, I'm asking you to please. He's going to the school. They got to hurry.
Yes, sir, hurry on the way.
Oh my God, this is just about to shoot. Oh my God, Jesus, he's shooting at people. Maybe Jesus. Oh Jesus, hallelujah. Oh my God. Father, in the name of Jesus, I just ask like I can't believe this. Oh, in the name of Jesus. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness, he spotted us. Oh my God. They're shooting. The Uvalde school is out there.
Okay, sir, so dive officers there. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect with you, okay?
Okay. Hurry.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I believe we have a stipulation that phone call started 11/29/14.
Correct.
All right. And Mr. Lamonis, I believe you described in your testimony that you were called upon to make a second call to 911. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What caused you to make a second call?
The actual shooting that was happening, there were the kids, that when the guy had walked into the school, when he began, to start shooting at the children.
And you could hear those shots from where you were.
Yes, sir.
So there was a second sense of urgency. And as you make that call in, I believe you had a stipulation 11:33:18. Some 4 minutes later.
Yes, brother.
So stipulated, you may proceed.
And we'd asked to offer Station Exhibit 22, the second 911 call.
No objection, Judge.
I think
It's
they're on the
admitted.
they're on the same
Oh, they're
disc.
both on the
Yeah,
same.
so we still exhibit number 21.
21A and B then, Your Honor, with A being the first phone call and B being the second.
All right, no objection, they're both admitted.
And then we play it for the jury.
You got to catch me.
Get inside the school!
Okay, then we do have...
Get into the building! Oh my God. What? Oh, he's shooting at the school! Oh my God, in the name of Jesus! He's inside the school shooting at the kids! He's right there! Oh my God, he went inside the school!
Yeah, we have multiple units inside of the school. They have locations.
He's inside the school! He's Let's go! We know you're not going to change. Stop pushing the back door! Stop jamming it! You need to take the school! You think that you're going to have to see it? I think it's school! Oh my God!
Are those two both accurate depictions of the 911 calls that you made?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lamonas, other than talking to the 911 dispatchers, does that phone call indicate you were talking to other people? Who else were you talking to?
I was talking to some, I think it was the first officer that responded. There was a Uvalde police officer,
The police officers that responded?
the first one.
Okay. And,
May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
you can just sit right there for, I just need to show one time. Just show the jury where the police officers were.
The first police officer that responded, that he parked right about right here. That was the one that I was telling him that he walked in through this door.
Okay.
And it was a Uvalde PD.
Did you ever see any officers at this intersection?
No, sir.
You did not talk to them?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the white car that you saw, would you show the direction you saw it and where it went?
Yes, sir. There's an entrance right here,
Yes.
and the car just came through this direction.
So the car drove in the same direction, at least ended up in the same place where the shooter was?
Up in this area, but the shooter was already inside the building when this. I'm sorry, I take that back. When the gunman was right here, if I recall correctly, it's when I saw a vehicle also pull by here, but they would not be able to see if whatever came through here. They wouldn't be able to see them because he was between two vehicles.
So the parking lot was full of
Yeah,
vehicles?
this car that came through here, I don't know who it was, but the car that came through here went fast.
It went fast?
It was real fast
And the gunman was between two vehicles at the time?
at that time, yes, sir.
Okay. But was the parking lot full of vehicles?
Yes, sir. This whole parking lot was full of a lot of vehicles.
Because it was a school day?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lamonis, let me also ask you, the funeral home, does it have video cameras on the funeral home?
Yes, sir.
And do those video cameras accurately depict the scenes both on the side of the funeral home as well as on the front of the funeral home?
Yes, sir.
We stipulate to those, Judge. No objection.
So we'll just kind of describe them for a second. Have you had a chance to look at those videos?
Some of them. No, sir.
Yes, sir. And do they accurately depict what you saw that day?
Yes, sir.
And so what's our next number? Is it alternate? We'd offer at this time, Mark, an offer, State's Exhibit 22, which is all 3 funeral home
No
cameras.
objection. So all three of them, no objection, Judge.
They're big.
And we'll
Keep
play
that
those.
publisher.
And if you'll just kind of swing around, we're going to play those funeral homes on that video behind you. You can pull it up. Okay, would you stop it real quick? Mr. Lamont, did you see the numbers in the top hand corner that are rolling continuously?
Yes, sir.
Does that appear to be the correct and accurate time as to when you saw these events?
I'm full. Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us what angle we're looking at this point.
You're looking at the side parking lot of the vehicle as it's facing Robb School. It's on the entrance where the accident really happened.
And where is the ditch where you saw the vehicle wreck?
May I approach it?
Yes.
It's right here.
Okay.
This is the side, the front of the office is on this side, and you'll see us walking through here to go across.
Okay. And so what we're about to see then is that vehicle wreck, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And does it also depict you coming out to check on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, would you pause it for a second? So, Mr. Leon, so I think what we're about to do is about to get to that point. I just wanted to point that out to you. We're just about 10 seconds from the original wreck.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So was that the wreck?
That was the wreck. Yes, sir, that was the wreck.
And the next thing we'll see then is you and your cohort going over to check on them. Is that right?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, pause it. Okay, we have 11:29:05 on the counter. Do you see yourself on that video?
Yes, sir.
And would you point that out for the jury?
That would be the first person on the right-hand side.
You'd be the person on the right-hand side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And so did that fairly and accurately depict that when you turned and ran and came back in as the shots were fired?
Yes, sir.
How many shots were fired?
To us,
Yes.
I couldn't tell you, but to be honest with you, there's quite a bit. I just remember bullets grazing us.
Okay. So it was more than that.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Could you just tell us what is this gunman doing at this point?
Yes, sir. At that point, I'm already inside the building, and I'm at the far right-hand office right here at the corner.
Okay.
And I'm watching him, and I'm calling 911 and telling them that I saw him where he jumped up. He threw first a duffel bag across. And as soon when he threw the duffel bag, then he jumped the fence himself, and then he started walking towards the school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll watch now until we get to 11:31:36 and ask you what we see there. Stop. Stop. And so around 11:31:36, is that when we saw the white car?
Yes, sir.
And is that the white car that you saw drive to the south
Yes, sir.
end of the building?
Yes, sir.
And the next camera angle will show better where that car went, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, do we see other police cars arriving at this time?
Yes, sir. I see them arriving over here at this sign.
At that intersection
Yes, sir.
of where the wreck happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is the time on the counter?
11:32:25.
Thank you. Okay, just stop it here. And we have it at about 11:33:35, and I'll ask you to describe what you see happen as we start it back up.
And honestly, I didn't know that the police officers were in that corner. I guess that's when I was with 911 calling, looking at towards the school.
You were looking at the other direction?
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Because that vehicle, because I'm like trying to figure out, okay, where, all I remember is a UPD
Sure.
officer showing up, and I didn't know they were stopped right there.
You didn't actually see it, but do you have any reason to believe this wasn't accurately depicting the events as they occurred?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. Start it back. Okay, just stop it here. Mr. Lamont, do you see another white car there at that point?
Yes, sir.
And is that the second car that you saw heading the same direction that the first white car?
No, I never saw no other vehicles other than just a white one. And this is the first time I've ever seen this.
Okay, we'll look at the next section then.
Okay.
Okay. Well, would you note the time is 11:34:57, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I think now we're going to move to a front angle, which may be a lot more closely aligned with what you actually saw.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And this may help you describe for us those two white police cars that came up.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough? So as we start, could you tell us what we're looking at?
You're looking at the front end of the funeral home,
And where is the Rob School?
directly across the street in front of the funeral home.
And on the screen, is it on the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen?
What is the Rob School? It's on the left side of the screen,
And where does the wreck occur?
on the right-hand side of the screen.
Thank you. Can you see the man who had the wreck and pulled the gun on you at this point?
Yes, sir.
And would you point that at, you might have to stand up, but point that out for the jury.
Yes, sir.
He's right there. And what's he doing as we stop the camera right there at 11:30.16?
He was jumping the fence at that point.
He's jumping the fence?
Yes, sir.
And now we're going to see him walk toward the Rob School?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you might just point it out one more time as he starts walking, just so make sure we see him.
Yes, sir.
Kind of small from here. Yes, if you will.
This is where he's walking right here. And he goes out of view for a little bit because there's a bush there. And he starts walking this direction. And that's where he's at.
Okay. And now look, you see, it's just a very dark blur, but walking across the school ground.
Yes, sir.
And would you tell us to stop the video when he gets to the parking lot?
Yes, sir. Right there's where you're starting to step foot into the parking lot.
11:31, about 21 or 22.
And as you can tell, he's walking in between the two vehicles at that point.
He's walking between the vehicles at 11:31, around 21 or 22. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And now we're going to move ahead about 15 seconds. I'm going to ask you what you see there.
Yes, sir.
Well, I may have misjudged the time. Stop. So it's 11:31:42. Can you tell us what we saw there?
Yes, sir. That's a white vehicle that I saw approaching into the schoolyard.
So about 20 seconds after the gunman reaches the parking lot, then you see a
Yes, sir.
white car, and it's headed toward that same direction. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start back up. And you can stop it there. So around 11:31:50, he's out of sight, but he's close to that south side of that last.
Yes, sir.
building. Is
At that,
right?
what I remember seeing is that the gentleman was between the two vehicles towards the front end of the vehicles, and that's when I saw the white vehicle that was going really fast that went right by him.
So the gunman was still at the southwest side of the building.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move forward then to 11:33:25. you stop it? Around 11:33, did you see a police car then leaving and driving that direction?
That direction, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you, because it's quiet, y'all didn't pick up sound, is that correct?
Correct.
But during this whole period of time, from when you saw the first white police car at 11:31, 42, until the police car left at 11:33:25, what was going on at the school?
That time that's when the shooting was happening outside. That's when he began to shoot the children at the pavilion first. That's what I was watching.
Okay. So you were watching the gunman shooting children at the pavilion,
Yes, sir.
and then did you see what the shooter did after that?
After he was shooting the children, I just saw the children, kind of all ran away from the school, and then I saw him walking towards the south end of the building, and then started at every window, and just randomly would just get the gun and shoot inside the windows.
And when he was shooting, that was after the white car had already gotten to the south end of the building.
Yes, sir.
And did you hear one or more than one shot?
He was shooting at every window as he was walking down. So there was a lot more. I don't know how many windows there was there, but he was shooting at every window up until he got to the entry door.
And did that give you concern?
Absolutely.
And what were you concerned for?
Or just for the children, the safety of the children, and
But you
the
couldn't
police
see the
officers.
children.
I'm sorry.
You couldn't see the children?
No, sir.
Well, then why would you be concerned for the children?
Well, because I didn't know whether they were in classrooms or not in classroom.
Sure. That's normal. Right?
Yes, sir. They're innocent children, so it's like.
Right, innocent children. And that's why we hear that energy in your voice when we call 911.
Correct. Yes, sir.
You're concerned for the kids.
Yes, sir.
And now we'll move to 11:34:59. That's a full minute and a half later. And is the second, would you stop at 11:34:59? Is that second white vehicle coming into view now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it goes back to the same place that the first vehicle went, the first white vehicle?
I can't tell you, sir, because I don't remember ever seeing another vehicle other than just the first white one.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll run it ahead. Will you describe what you see this second white vehicle do?
Yes, sir.
Will you describe it as you watch it? And would you stop it there at 11:35:07?
And he passed through a parking lot right where the shooter was originally from the beginning.
Did he take the same path that that first vehicle took?
From the looks of it, yes, sir.
And that was at 11:35:08, some 3.5 minutes later. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Let's go ahead and break lunch.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, It's a little afternoon. What I'd like to ask the folks in the courtroom to do is we're going to excuse the jury and they're going to go with the bailiff to catch the elevators to have lunch so we can get them back by 1:15. So if you'll stay in the courtroom until the bailiff opens the door over there, we'll get them out first. Please remember my instructions, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for the jury. You can be seated. We're in recess. Thank you.